that was how it started.
So what happened that night?
Nothing, not for weeks. He kept picking us up multiple times a week, taking us to these parks and parking up. He would buy us alcohol from the petrol station, cigs, bring us food. He would play cards with us and listen to music, talk with us, and he would talk about our past, our history at home before we went into care. As an adult, I recognised he was trying to build up a picture of our vulnerabilities before anything progressed any further. As a child, we just thought he wanted to be our friend.
But that's really interesting. That's something we've noticed. So he was trying to pick up on your vulnerabilities. How was he doing that?
So he was asking us, like, the other girl that was with me, her mum had died, so he was asking about how she felt about that and all the ins and outs of that with me. He was asking about what I'd experienced at home. It was like he was trying to realise what we were lacking so then he could offer us it, which would then build that emotional bond between us and him.
Is it fair to say he was testing the water almost to see what support network you had around you?
Yes, and I also think the first incident was also a test in the water. So one night he took us to a dingy hotel, one that's used for like brothel work.
Just stop you at this, but so he picked you up from the children's home and took you to a dingy hotel?
Yeah, he said that he didn't want to drive around all night. He wanted to be able to drink with us and have fun. We'd been out with him for a number of weeks at this point, so we felt kind of lulled into a false sense of security. We went to this hotel and we drank. We had vodka and Lucozade bottles, and we tipped half the Lucozade bottles out and pour it in with vodka instead, and we were drinking that in the hotel. I remember my friend being really drunk, and there was a double bed, and like I was laid in the middle, she was laid at one side of me and he was laid at the other side of me, and then he waited until my friend had gone into the bathroom, and then she stumbled back in extremely drunk, and he pushed his hands down my pants and sexually assaulted me. But there were multiple illegal immigrants during the time. They used to bring them out with them, call them mangies or freshies. They were, they'd often be a lot of second generation Pakistani men, and then like they'd bring out the illegal immigrants and stuff, or the just immigrated here ones, and they would try and force the girls to have sex with these men because even the girls were reluctant to go near them. And I can tell you now, not a single one of them men during that time that I met were coming here fleeing war and were scared of what was going on at home. They were coming here because they thought that they could have fun. None of them were good people. Not a single one had any other mindset other than drinking, drugs and taking a girl whether she wanted to or not. In the serious case review, it was acknowledged that my criminal record should be squashed because I only have convictions aged between 13 and 18, which is exactly the years that I was abused. One of them is for possession of a lethal weapon in a public place because one of the men were beating me in my house and there was a full night of horrible stuff going on, and he sent me in the kitchen to make him a pizza, and as I was cutting the pizza I just started threatening him with the knife, and I karate chopped his arm with it, and he went and then he came back and he started kicking the door. So I left the doorstep and I chased him to the car with the knife, and at the same time a police van pulled up. So one of the neighbours must have rang, they must have heard the screaming and stuff, and the police instead let him drive away, and they arrested me for possession of a lethal weapon in a public place because I left the doorstep. We're between maybe 25 and 30, but then as we met these, we then got taken to meet older and older people.
What's the oldest man that you met?
One of them prosecuted was, I think he was 44 when I met him.
And were these are all Muslim Pakistani men?
Yes, I think I was abused by between 50 and 100 men. Out of that, there was only 2 that weren't Pakistani.
50 to 100 men that's a terrible thing that's happened to you, Fiona. Are you happy to carry on talking about that?
Yep.
So over what period of time was that?
So from the care records say 14, but I'm pretty sure I know my timeline, and it was 13,
Yeah,
13 to 18.
In your statement, you say pretty much every single day for a 4 or 5 year period.
So my serious case review does document that I was missing on almost a daily basis. I'd say a good 5 times a week. I'd normally be there for a few days and then go back to the care home, because eventually when I was about 15, we got taken to a man's house who has been convicted. And at one point I was basically living in the house. He had a little small box room, and it was just had like a divan bed and a mattress and loads of storage boxes in there, and there were no bedding or out like that, but that became my bedroom. And I'd stay there for days on end, and then I'd go back to the care home for maybe like one day and then go back there for days.
So when you were there, it's a terrible question to ask a lady, but we are here for this. How many men would arrive? So you were there for 2 nights. How many men would arrive over a 2-day period or a 3-day period?
They called it the party house, so there were constantly men coming. Anywhere between 10 and 20 men at any one time in the house. Every now and again, there'd be like just these 4 or 5 consistent ones. I had a lot of support from my MP. Well, he's not even my MP. My MP's Nash Shah, so I didn't even go to her. I went to Robbie Moore. He's in Keighley, which is the next constituency over. And I went to him in 2019. I wrote an email to all 80 councillors and all 5 MPs. And Robbie Moore was the only one to reply back to me out of them all. And ever since then, he's spoke up about Bradford and Keighley, even against his own party. And I have the utmost respect for that man. Honestly, I do. I get a little bit emotional, because he was one of the first people to properly believe in me. And I've come a long way with his support. There was a phone call once where she tried reporting me missing, and she said I was being picked up by Asian men and I was being abused. Now, the call handler said back to her, you can't describe them as Asian men because that's racist. You should just be glad your child is being taught a different culture.